Good morning to you, our viewers of High Television. You are welcome to the midweek edition of the program Press Brief this fine Wednesday morning, the 20th of December 2023, just 5 days till Christmas. We'll be back to give you what the papers are saying. Once again, viewers of High Television, you are welcome back to the program. If you are joining us, the program on air is Press Brief. For presentation, I am meeting Larry Kevin Tabot. We'll start today's edition of the program with the first paper, Le Messager. Le Messager for today says the Catholic Church, the devil in cassock, making reference to the Pope of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, who just endorses homosexuality in the Catholic Church, as he says, it's okay to bless homosexual couples. We'll move over to femicide in the country. It says 80 women have been killed in 2023 by their love partners or persons in relationship with, as reported to us on page 11 on Le Messager. From Le Messager, we cross over to Limbe with The Sun. The Sun newspaper of Nobedwaso says 2025 presidential elections, coalition against CPDM already in disarray. It went further to talks of Nincho's missteps, needless deliberate against OC, and SDF puts the possibility of a strong coalition in peril. Limbe 1 Edina cancels to run on a budget on 900 million CFA francs in 2024. Crossed over to the presidential reconstruction for the Southwest region. Gutes launches CFA France 21 billion cash from the Islamic Development Bank. CDC focus on crop diversification with CFA France 90 billion as budgets get read more on page 7 on the Sun newspaper for this day. From the Sun newspaper, we cross over to municipal updates in Yaoundé. The paper of Victor Mbama Cham says reconstruction of Northwest Southwest region. PM John Gute launches CFA France 21 billion what Islamic Development Bank support. You can find more on that paper for today. Bafo celebrates Mbom Bafo Festival in style that just ended in Kumba, and we'll take you to Limbe City Council. It talks of at budget orientation debates. Limbe population outlined priority projects for 2024. We'll move over to the next paper for today. Breaking news for this day talks of Operation Sparrowhawk. It talks on how Operation Sparrowhawk is still in existence, and we take you to PCRN party. It talks of the bad gesture towards Cabral Libri as the some proponents are fighting him when it comes to the leadership of that paper, of that party that he heads as PCRN part in the appointment of a new director at the said establishment. And we'll move over to this one from the Catholic Church. It says the Vatican endorses homosexuality. You can find more on that one on the Catholic Church and her deranged doctrine and gospel. We'll move away from that story. We'll talk Kasika. It talks of Paul Biya honors the president on page 7 on that publication for today. The horizon for this morning talks of Kumba 1 May receive FACOM 2023 Good Governance Practice Award. In that said paper, budget orientation in Limbe Councils, it's Limbe City Council. It says the City Council unveils developmental projects, and we cross over to this one from Mabel Bome, who leads the other influencers campaign to reshape detoxifying Cameroon's social media space in a positive impact. Cameroon Bar Council examination slated for March 2024 at last. Get to read that story on that said paper for today. Innovation newspaper talks of the armed forces who opened fire on some civilians as 8 were killed and many others were gruesomely injured in the locality of Tokomberi in the northern region of the country. The Martinez Zogo on ending affair, it says the Judge the second Kwamo Aimé Florent continue. Get to read that story on that said paper. Homosexuality, the Pope of the Catholic Church is okay with homosexuality to be practiced in the Catholic Church, as he says it's fine to bless homosexual couples in church. Cameroon Tribune of Marie Claire Nana talks of the act of the head of state. It says 8 laws to be promulgated into action by the President of the Republic after they were proposed and enacted by the lower and upper houses of Parliament. Mfu, it says, at Lomé Hospital inaugurated. You can find more on that story on that said paper for today. Violence on women. The paper reports on governors across the 10 regions of the country examine disturbing statistics revealed in Cameroon as the statistics reveal that some 80 women have been killed by intimate partners of theirs. You can find more on that story and how the 10 regional governors want to step out this malpractice or vice or femicide in Cameroon. Quotidian Economy for today talks of the evaluation of 3 million persons living in insecure Cameroon. You can find more on that story on page 3, and the bulk of them come from the southwest, northwest, and the far north regions, where the Boko Haram insurgency and the Anglophone crisis are still making rounds. Get to read that story on Economy Quotidian for today. We'll cross over to the north region, where 1.1 billion CFA francs have been put for the development of the livestock sector in the northern region of the country. Yaoundé, Douala, among the cities in the African continent when it comes to high cost of living. You can find more on that paper for today. We leave that Quotidian Economy to go on to Conjuncture Economy. Conjuncture Economy for today reports on the road network of the country. It says some 798,000.83 kilometers of roads have been achieved in 2023. That report comes from the Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Nganou Nchomisi, who made that pronouncement on that paper of Conjuncture Economy. We cross over to the Saint Francois Hospital of Kribi. It says the Orange Foundation comes out with this humanitarian action of some 17 million CFA francs as a donation when it comes to equipment and medications to that health facility of Saint Francois Hospital in Kribi. We'll move away from that story to AFD and GCAM. It talks of the enterprise of public adopts the code of good governance. Get to read that story on page 10 on Conjuncture Economy for this morning. From Conjuncture Economy, we crossed over to the next paper for today. That is Le Preuve. Le Preuve for today reports on Yaoundé. It says Minister Celestin Kecha Cortez launches this construction of some 3,600 low-cost housing in the Olimbe neighborhood of Yaoundé. Get to read that story on Le Preuve newspaper for today. From that paper, we cross over to Nouvelle Horizon for today. It talks of the group to be sent to Olympic. You can find more on that paper for today. Decentralization. What should be done to fast track the decentralization process in the country? The paper gives some attempted answers on that paper for today. We'll cross over to Eden newspaper for this morning. The paper from Limbe of late Zach Zanganembo says Presidential Plan for Reconstruction and Development for the Southwest and Northwest region. The Islamic Development Bank pumps in CFA francs 21.150 billion CFA francs as her own contributions for the reconstruction of the Southwest and Northwest regions of the country. So the CDC board adopts a 2024 budget, and in this said paper it says Kumba One Council flies Southwest flag high at FACOM Awards 2023. And we wrap up with this one at second budget orientation debate of the Limbe City Council. It says the Limbe City Mayor Paul Efomengale reviews on big plans for the town of Limbe. Get to read that story on that said paper. We cross over to Ekodu Parliament for this day. It talks of the decentralization process. It says the key role played by the Senate when it comes to the fast tracking of decentralization across Cameroon. We'll move over to the year in retrospect at the National Assembly. It talks of Honorable Joshua Osi, who comes out to be the voice of the teachers as he keeps on supporting the OTS and OTR movement of the teacher syndicates movement. Get to read that story on that said paper of Ekodu Parliament. We'll cross over to this other story from Ekodu Parliament on the parliamentary network group of Cameroonians from who are based in France, and they are lawmakers. Their visits that was recorded in Cameroon. What was it all about? Get to read more on Écho du Parlement newspaper for you this morning. We cross now to Génération Libre for today. It talks of the Minister of Civic Education, the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Monuna Futso, who compensate some good athletes in the country. This was during the national school competition, and we take you to Paul Atsanganji, who inscribed security to be maximum across the 10 regions of the country. This one follows the meeting of the 10 regional governors with the Minad boss Paul Atsanganji yesterday at the conference hall of the Ministry of Territorial Administration. We'll take you to this other paper, Economy to Cameroon, for today. Talks of governance. It says corruption, the darling child of the government of Cameroon. You can find more on that paper of Economy to Cameroon for today. We move over to the railway sector. It talks of the action put in place for maximum safety in the railway company by the rail company known as Camrail. We'll be taking you to next door Nigeria with the Punch. The Punch for today talks of cash crunch, protests again, banks cuts withdrawal. Get to read that story on that said paper. On ending River State crisis, the paper reports on PDP Clark fault, Tinubu's peace deal, APC slams opposition. Domestic borrowing, the paper talks of domestic borrowing jumps to 134% increase with the tune of 52 trillion naira. We'll move over to this one that says don't depend on the villa for feedback. That is what Fayemi advises Ahmed Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. We'll move over to the Nation. The Nation for today says CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, bank bridge loan limit regulations. And in that said paper, no price too much to pay for peace in Rivers State. That is what the Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara talks on that paper between him and his godfather. The feud between him and his godfather Yusum Wiki. We'll move over to this other one that talks of the Economic Crime Fighting Commission of Nigeria, known as EFCC, now being on the searchlight on councils. Get to read that story from Next Door Nigeria. We'll move now to the next paper, Punch Plus Extra for this day. It talks of the Floxy fellas. Get to read that story on the sports paper for today. Okocha, JJ Okocha, my best player, kudos. Get to read that on that set paper. Don't expect Mokudu to save Chelsea. In that set paper, the paper talks on nice give update on Angel Murphy. We'll move over to the next publication we are having for today on our newsstands. That is Reality Please of Paul. It talks of the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atsanganji, who calls on the 10 regional governors to prescribe vigilance when it comes to the chieftaincy wahala in certain regions of the country. He was speaking yesterday at the press conference. He was speaking yesterday at the conference hall of the Ministry of Territorial Administration with the 10 regional governors of Cameroon. And we move over to the party of PDR of Daisala Tanga Tasi, who elected him as the new national president of that political party in the country. We'll cross over to the Sun from the UK. It talks of George's order Stone's praise. It went further to talk on Andrew Grubb's case bombshell. Get to read that story on the said paper. And top 10 in the tally and film, it says who rules screen in 2023. And the paper of the Sun wishes everyone a Merry Christmas. Get to read that story on the said paper for today. We'll move over to the Times. The Times says elderly will bear brunt of strike at Christmas, and who on the Razzle list of 2023. We take you to the next paper for today. The next paper for today, the health paper, will come back to Cameroon with Écho du Parlement. It talks of the performance rate of certain medical personnel in the country. It says the top 20 most persons who actually excelled in the medical domain in 2023. The paper gives them a pat on their back. Get to read more on the health paper of Quotidien Eco Santé for this morning. We will remain in the UK with Metro newspaper. It talks of Epstein friend's name on January 1, and man who would be the king. Get to read more on that said British tabloid for today. From that British tabloid, we take you to the last newspaper on our disposal for today. The last paper for today is the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail says Kemi teaching children you can be born in the wrong body is harmful. And in that said paper, the paper reports on police in Ecuador question lover of kidnap 78-year-old